He made second team All MAC in 2018, third team All Conference in 2020. He is a MAC champion, and he is the first ever eighth year senior in FBS history. Kyle, welcome to the show, and how are you doing today?
Oh man, it's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm doing good, man. My body feels good, and I'm ready to roll.
Absolutely, dude. I'm fired up to share your story because it is a hell of a story. It's inspirational. Um, but let's take it back to 2015 when you started your career, or even before 2015. What made you choose NIU to begin with?
Being from Chicago Heights, that I think Illinois or Northern Illinois was it was a no-brainer for me. Especially because I come from a big family, and it was really important for me that they be in driving distance so they can come to all the home games and stuff like that. So when I got a call from Northern Illinois, it was a pretty much a done deal for me.
Sure. And so that was 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And what went into the decision to come back for an eighth year in 2022?
Man, a lot of stuff has happened in between 2015.
Yeah, we'll get to that for sure.
Yeah.
We'll get into that for sure. But what went into the decision to come back for that eighth year, be the first ever in FBS history?
Man, it was just unfortunate circumstances. I spent so much time on the sidelines that I had one guaranteed opportunity to play again, and I took a little bit of confidence in myself, but I bet on myself, and I figured that I give it one more shot in hopes that I could stay healthy, and it's been a great ride so far.
To start your career back in 2015, you redshirted, and then the next year you were back up in 2016. The third year, you earned the starting job, and unfortunately got injured 4 games in the season. You're having a really good season up until that point, and that was the first injury of your career. And since then, you've had a few unfortunate injuries since then. Would you be willing to list all the injuries you've had since 2017?
Yeah. So, like you said, I got off to a pretty hot start in 2017. I started the first 4 games and played at a pretty high level. And then the fourth game of 2017, I tore my bicep tendon at the elbow. In 2018, I played through a torn labrum in my right shoulder. So I missed Florida State that year. I think but other than that, I just kind of had to fight through it. It was dislocating, pretty often, and I would just have to get it popped back in, and then I was fine. But I definitely had surgery after the bowl game in 2018 to repair my labrum. 2019 in the second game, I fractured my shoulder socket. Um,
Jeez.
that was Utah, I believe we were playing, and then 2020 was a COVID year, so we only played 6 games. And then 2021, I was all reared up to go, and then I tore my ACL in the last practice of spring ball.
I mean, that's a laundry list of injuries you've had there. And I know from experience that a significant injury can help you really grow mentally and as a person. Talk about have those injuries help you grow as a person?
Yeah, man, it's been a crazy journey, and I've definitely had to grow up, in a lot of different ways. I've had to take on more of a supportive role, as a teammate, and then I had to kind of um, navigate my way through an unfamiliar territory. I've never been a injury prone player, so I've never actually been on the sideline before, and to spend so much time and throughout my college career, it's definitely humbling, and it just taught me a lot of things. There's more to life than football, although that is still the love of my life. My passion is what gets me up in the morning, but there's a lot more out there. Um, and there's a lot more to me than being an athlete. And I think the time that I spent on the sideline actually taught me that.
Sure. And going off of that, I mean, you're not only at Northern Illinois to pursue your football aspirations, you have done a lot academically. Talk about some of the degrees you've picked up and what you're studying currently.
Yeah. So in 2019, I finished with my undergrad in kinesiology. Um, my career got prolonged, and so I ended up pursuing my master's in sports management, and then it got extended even further. So I'll finish this December with my second master's in sports psychology.
Okay. And so outside of playing football, what's your dream job?
Man, as of lately, I've been really interested in sports psychology, pretty much working with athletes on like the mental rehab of sport
Sure.
injury. There's a lot. We put so much into our bodies to fight back from injury that, a lot of times we never really take the time to heal mentally. And
Yeah.
I'm studying that right now in school, and there's just so much information out there that it definitely, the mental part of rehab will definitely help you, on the back end as far as not re-injuring yourself. So that's definitely something that I would like to look into.
How have you grown as a leader since coming in as an 18-year-old kid?
Um, I think as a leader, I didn't have the experience aspect early on because I've been here so long. There's not much that I haven't seen yet. I've definitely had to learn trial and error for a lot of different reasons. And so, just as a leader, I can, kind of help guys navigate and, teach them, hey, don't do that. That'll lead to this, or,
Hmm.
if it's technique issues or off the field issues, I've seen it all. And so, I'm just, a coach that, guys are more comfortable to talk to, I would say.
Sure. No, kind of like a coach on the field, I
Yeah.
imagine, with all your
Yeah.
experience. So,
So,
and talking about coaches, in 2019, there was a coaching change. Rod Carey left for Temple and came Thomas Hammock, Northern Illinois legend. Talk about the culture that he's building with the coaching staff there right now.
yeah, Coach Hammock, that guy is special. Uh, his culture is different. I've obviously seen a lot of different coaching staffs come and go, but um, Hammock's culture is honest, it's transparent, and it's all about competition, right? So at some programs, you have guys that kind of tell players what they want to hear, and get them through the recruiting process, and then once they get there, they kind of get screwed over. But Coach Hammock is he's it is what it is with him. He is who he is, and so um, it's all about competition. And you either put yourself in the right opportunity to compete for a job, or he'll let you know. So the culture is all about transparency. Uh, he takes academics very seriously. I think we've had one of the highest GPAs since he returned, one of the highest GPAs in school history. So he's the real deal, and that obviously shows in the turnaround that he was able to accomplish. Going from 0-6 the COVID year into MAC champions was incredible. So
Was the culture that your coach is building now, did that have something to do with you coming back for that eighth season?
yeah, it definitely did. Obviously, I was a part of the 0-6 season in 2020, but I could I could pretty much see where he was going. I could
Sure.
see him establishing the culture, and he started to get the right guys into the locker room, and it was just fortunate for me that I was able to kind of grow up while he was, getting his guys in the right spot. And now that I'm healthy again, I get to take part in what he's building here, and hopefully this year will be special.
Sure. And with the media eligibility with the transfer portal, I know that's changed a lot since you first entered college. Was there ever a time in your head where you thought of entering the portal and going elsewhere?
Uh, yeah, in 2020 we didn't win a game, so you definitely kind of start looking around, weighing your
Yeah.
options, different things like that. But I really did buy into what Coach Hammock was putting together here, and I like to say I saw it before everybody else did, but I was not surprised at all when they turned it around in 2021 and won the MAC championship. I saw that coming way before.
I've read some articles about you, and you said they liked in rehab set goals and to reach those goals. Talk about some of the goals you have for this season with your team.
Yeah, well, one thing that I've learned from my time in the sports management program is that there's power in what we think, and what we speak. And so I don't really, um, I won't give you any goals because I don't want to set any limits on myself, right,
All
or
right.
my
I
team.
like that.
But when we're all communicating well, we're all healthy, we play at a really high level. Um, and so far, that's what we've put on film this year. And I really expect for us, the sky to be the limit for us this year.
Sure. My next question is, what goals do you have after the season for yourself? Like, what are you looking to do once your college career is over?
Um, Man, that's where it gets kind of interesting, right? Because I'm 25 years old. I have a 9-month-old daughter. Um, and so after college, I definitely need to get around her as much as possible.
Sure.
Um, if the next level comes calling, if I have an opportunity, I'll definitely pursue it. But um, you know, right after college, my focus is going to go straight to my daughter.
Sure. No, I get that. And I, you know, grown man strength is a real thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you're 25 now,
Hmm.
but then you add dad strength on top of that. I didn't know you had a kid.
Yeah.
I've heard that like when you take on a mortgage, you automatically add 45 pounds to your bench press. Then when you have a kid, that's another 45 pounds. So are you feeling that grown man dad strength when you're out there on the football field?
Man, there's something a little extra to it, especially when she's in the crowd. So it's
Yeah.
got to be some truth to that.
Yeah, no, I see people. I'll see an old man, and I'd say you're an old man. You're only a year older
All
than
right,
me.
I've heard it all.
I bet you have, but
Yeah.
I'll see somebody who has the exact same physique as me at the gym, but he'll be like 50 years old, and he'll have like an extra 50 pounds on the
Yeah.
bench that I could do, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's stat strength right there.
That's all it is.
Yeah, or maybe I'm just making myself feel better. Who knows? But yeah. So we talked about you played with, was it a torn labrum in 2018?
Hmm.
Hey, and that year you made second team all conference. But would you say you're as healthy as you've ever been this season?
Yeah, and that, that
Okay,
that plays another part into me. Obviously 8 years is a long time, but the times where I was able to play healthy, and it was spurts, but I was playing at a really high level.
hmm,
Not to toot my own horn, but like I do believe I'm self confident, and I believe that I'm still the same player. I can still reach the same levels, and I've had some unfortunate injuries that have kept me on the sideline, but you know I've put in the work in my body. I've invested countless hours, changed my diet, I sleep more now, everything. I'm doing all the right things to give myself a chance. And then, whatever happens after that, it is what it is. But I still believe that I'm that same player.
yeah. And as time goes on, I imagine your athleticism just going to keep on picking up and picking
Mhm.
up the further you get removed from all the injuries in the
Yeah.
past. So I could see you really continuing to turn it on the
Yeah.
rest of the season. And do you have an extra appreciation with everything you've been through? I mean, you have two SEC teams. You have Vanderbilt coming to town this weekend, and then you have Kentucky after that. Do you have an extra appreciation for these huge matchups coming up with everything you've been through?
Uh, no. And it's crazy. I've spent so much time on the sideline. It really doesn't matter who we line up against. I have the same approach. I'm just super excited to be able to play football again. Um, it's obviously a different approach because it is a SEC team. And, it's going to be some talented guys on the field. But my excitement and my enthusiasm just to be on the field again, it wouldn't change if it was anybody else.
Sure, sure. Um, so there's going to be a lot of talented football players, as you mentioned, but you guys have a lot of talented pieces returning from last season, a MAC champion team. Um, I was going to ask you what's the ceiling on this team, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
What's the confidence level heading into these games? Is is your mindset echoed by your teammates? Like, hey, this is just another team. They're men just like us. They're not special. What's the confidence level with you and your team and the mindset heading into this game against Vanderbilt on Saturday?
Yeah, and I think this goes to show you how important Coach Hammock's culture is. But we compete at such a high level at practice that we really don't expect to lose any game that we're in. Because it can't get much more competitive. It can't get much more intense than what we do at practice.
Sure.
We have game day every day at practice, and it's a high level of competition within each position group, and then offense versus defense, and then special teams. And so, it's really just refreshing to be able to hit somebody else. But it's just what we do.
Yeah. In your 8-year journey, talk about some of the biggest life lessons you've had at Northern Illinois.
One of the hardest things to accept for me, especially on this journey, is that life goes on. Nobody's going to stop and wait for you to figure it out. Football is still going to be played no matter if you're out there or on the sideline. So, somebody has to fill your spot. Somebody has to sit in your locker, or somebody has to wear your jersey number. So life keeps going on, and that's really hard to swallow sometimes, especially because we get caught up in our own world and kind of get in a sense of thinking that everything revolves around us, and then to be such a big part of a team, and then to understand that it'll still be that same team if you're on the sideline is a pretty humbling experience. And I think that's been the hardest part. Each injury is to put all the work in on the off season, and then to watch somebody else fill my spot is not good. It's not a good feeling.
What advice would you give to your 2015 self?
I would definitely tell myself to lose the ego. Right? Eat crumbs. Take everything for what it is. Celebrate your wins, and let go of your losses. Right? It's short lived. You only get to, for me, it's a little longer lived than everybody else being here as long as I have. But you only get to play college football for so long. The next level is not guaranteed. So just make the most of your opportunities. Cherish everything. Keep a camera with you and take lots of pictures because it goes fast.
So going a little bit into next year, I know you said you want to be with your daughter as much as possible. And you said at the next level, if the opportunity presents itself, you'll take it. But are you going to give the NFL your best shot next year? If you have a good season this year, you can just give it everything you got?
Yeah, I think I owe it to myself to, I've come this far. I've battled through 4 different, rehab processes, and, I've been through a lot more. So, just to get to that point and walk away, I think it would be unsatisfying, conclusion to the story. So I give it my best shot. And, I with me being 25 years old, I think I'm more, let's say, prepared to handle, whatever comes my way after that.
Yeah. But if you can play, you can play.
Yeah.
If you're even though you're 20, you'll be 26 by the time next season rolls around.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can play,
Yep.
Why not you?
Yeah. 100%.
So dude, I'm fired up. And then, let's say right away the NFL doesn't happen. Just hypothetically, would you play in the XFL as an opportunity to, maybe use that as like the minor leagues to try to work your way up to NFL?
Yeah. At that point, I would have to, assess my body and see how I'm feeling. And then I would have to, sit down and be honest with myself and talk to my family about it, because the one thing about it is that time doesn't stop ticking, right? So
yeah,
the more that I spend outside of the National Football League, the older I get, the harder it'll be. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's with a daughter and everything like that. I would be, it would have to make sense for me and my family for me to keep pursuing it.
Sure. Yeah. And my thing with you, why not you? I that would be the perfect ending. That's a straight up movie right there.
Yeah.
You make the NFL, that's the perfect ending to a movie right there.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
I have one last round I want to do with you, which is a lightning round, where I'll just ask you a plethora of questions here and just answer them in a timely fashion.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
All right, let's rock and roll. Who's your favorite football player of all time?
Ray Lewis.
I like that. Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Favorite quote?
Work now, party later.
Greatest linebacker of all time?
Ray Lewis.
Yeah. Favorite movie?
The Breakfast Club.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Favorite food?
Peanut butter and jelly.
I think I might know the answer to this next one. But do you have any games circled on your calendar for this year?
Nope.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
Favorite animal?
Lion.
Favorite place in the whole world?
At home with my family.
All right, who's the best linebacker in the NFL right now?
Fred Warner.
Toughest quarterback you've played against in college?
Zach Wilson.
That's all I got for you. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I appreciate it, and looking forward to staying connected along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. It was super fun.
Absolutely. No, it's great telling your story. So, yeah, best of luck these next 2 weekends or the rest of the season. I'll be watching and rooting for you.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.